All right, looks like everything is in place here. I am going to do some drafts today. At the very least, one draft. They can take a little long sometimes, but the more I stop talking about drafts and the more I start doing drafts, the more drafts we can do. So let's hop in it here. Let's join the draft. And we look at our pick. We can pick any faction we want. And most of these cards are pretty solid. We can grab a Borean Stormweaver, which is just always a solid card. A Siphon Experimentation, which is also really good. And it's crushed me like several times. It's just so good on rank 1. It's not the type of drafts that I normally go for. I normally just go for consistency and trying to slowly win the game once we get to player level 3. But a +5, +10 is effectively what this card provides. Because the armor can... the armor acts as a +10 when you calculate it twice. So this card's really strong. Bulwark Battalion is also really good. It's solid on every player level. And just a good card. And then you have Flesh Fiend, which is just a classic card. It's always been good. They changed the numbers around on it a lot. But it's really good, and it's an abomination. Then you get Lightbringer Council, which I think is the weakest of the cards here. But it puts us... I mean, I don't really know where the factions line up against each other right now. But I really like Uterra in general. So, 4 solid options here. Yeah, this isn't really going to get that easy. Well... I kind of want to play with Bulwark Battalion. Siphon Experimentation might just be better. Borean Windweaver might just be better. But this card's just really solid and is going to go pretty well with my playstyle. You just open lane this, and the next turn you block their 2 creatures, and you just eat them for free with the 4 armor bonus that you get. Can pick up a Stonefist Giant. I'm going to read Nether Decay. Oh, this is the when a creature is destroyed. Yeah, this thing's reasonable. Legion Titan gets +1/+1 for small things, so it's probably a 5/5, 10/10, 15/15. Not something you want to go too crazy for. Does it count your own stuff too? No, just your enemy stuff. So we're just going to grab a Stonefist Giant. Then we're going to pick up the best 10-piece common, Borean Stormweaver. And Wind Primordial, keep it going. Here we can grab Aegis Wings or Frost Shatter Strike. Aegis Wings would have been really good with the Siphon Experimentation that we passed up, but I think I'm still going to grab it. It's still probably pretty good. Yeah, you can plan for it. So it's a +3, +2, +6, +4, +9, +6 on a fairly regular basis. Or there's Frost Shatter Strike, which is just +8, +0, +14, +0, +22, +0, but split up over multiple bodies. We're going to grab Aegis Wings, though. I think it's slightly more powerful. We have Ice Shard Berserker as an underdrop, Ordnance Captain as a solid creature to fill the lanes. Cardrasian Stoneback is pretty good, and I've seen a lot of opponents play it pretty effectively against me. I have a soft spot in my heart for Steelskin Spelunker that's going to make that a little bit hard to pass up. This card's just so good on every player level and affects battle. So... yeah, I'm going to take Steelskin Spelunker, and I'm going to be pretty happy with that. We can grab an Arc Worm. I didn't really even know what that thing did. Turnabout is our heroic. but I think I'm just going to grab Razortooth Stalker. Our deck is like reasonably aggressive. We also have stuff for the late game, but right now I'm just like all of my cards are solid at every point. I could grab a Cinder Colossus here. We are in the colors to grab some defenders and make that work. But I think we get more equity out of Magma Hounds just in general. And I'll take a Volcanic Giant, as Jetpack doesn't do anymore what it used to. We can grab a Nexus Overwatch, which I think we've seen played against me a whole bunch of times, but I haven't yet gotten to play a Nexus Overwatch. We can grab another Magma Hound. I can grab a Sparkstone Elemental to negate Defender from each of my creatures. I can grab another Steelskin Spelunker, or I can grab this Heroic here. What's interesting is that this is the worst faction combination for Cauldron Mystic, because we're not really going to have reliable ways to finish their creatures off. Wow, look at this guy's stats. This guy's stats are solid on every level too. Wow. I don't mean level 2, I mean level as well. It might just be Sparkstone. It lets us get into the Defender game for free, and at the same time is just a pretty solid card here. I don't really think we want Cauldron Mystic because, okay, we deal 3 damage to something. We don't really have the means to finish it off. So, I don't know. I've been really impressed with Cauldron Mystic in the past. We can put it in the center lane. We can use it with Bulwark Battalion right now. We've got 1 Stormweaver and 1 Magma Hound. At the same time, yeah, I'm going to grab this. I think that's fine. Then we can grab a meta transfer, or just pick up another Magma Hound here. I'm going to grab Magma Hound. So now I can grab Scout Drone, which is a free creature, and I'm generally pretty okay with Scout Drone. And grab Nexus Pilot as just a solid stat kind of beater. Falneck Squadron, we've got Bulwark Battalion, so Falneck Squadron will be able to pump itself. We also have Steelskin Spelunker. So how that works is that it'll come into play, it'll get armor, and then it'll be able to give itself +2/+2. More often than not, I think that's how that works. These are all really good cards. Same time, we also have a lot of really good cards. So I think I like Scout Drone. At the very least, it's different. It's going to open up some different lines of play that we wouldn't normally get. And we're not even halfway through the draft, so we might pick up more Nexus Overwatches or other things like that. I'm going to take another Negate Defender. That's a pretty easy pick there. I'm going to take Scout Drone over the Flame Jet here. Just pick the creature when in doubt. We could take another Flame Rift Instigator, but I'm going to take Matrix Warden here. And then we have our first opportunity, or our second really, to pick up a Defender. Forge Guardian Alpha, not super impressive, but I think it's a fine one. Would either be that, Volcanic Giant, or Ordnance Captain here. But we already have 3 Defenders Matter cards, right? Oh no, we have 2, sorry. We've got 2. Maybe I just hold out and wait for later picks, because this isn't super impressive. Yeah, I'll just take Volcanic Giant. That pushes through damage as well. Here we've got another way to remove Defender. And that is the only way, I believe, currently in Aloyan to remove Defender. I don't really want to take it, though. No, we'll just take this creature. It's bigger on every level. So we'll just grab the bigger creature. It might push some damage through as well. Oh, I don't like any of these. I don't like any of these. Uh, I guess I'll take Tower Vanguard. There's some. I mean, this card's good on the final player level. Maybe we take it just because we could power level this. We only have one Nexus Overwatch right now, but if we get into a point where we're just leveling cards, like I don't really want to play this card, and I don't really want to play Tower Vanguard either. It'll get armor with our first pick Bulwark Battalion, but no, we're just going to take Firemain Steed, and maybe we'll be able to power level it. Siphon Infiltrator, that's good. Leyline Sentry, which, to be honest, I have 3 of. So, that's not an issue. Okay, so we've got another go at a Forge Guardian Alpha, which we did not take last time. But again, there's way too many cards in this pack to take a Forge Guardian Alpha. There's a Magma Hound, a Flamestoke Shaman, and an Ashurian Mystic. At the same time, Leyline Sentry, it is going to play itself for free a decent amount of the time in draft. Fuck it. Yeah, it'll play itself for free a lot. So I think that that's actually pretty good. I'm going to take Forge Plate Sentry here. Keep the Sentry theme going. Aloyan Strategist. Wow, wow, wow. All right, we definitely got super lucky this draft. Aloyan Strategist, I think, is probably the best heroic in the draft pool right now. And I say that without really knowing the full draft pool. This guy's just insane. He's going to do a lot of work. He's got mobility. There's not really much he can't do. We'll pick up our second Stonefist Giant. We have Borean Stormweaver. I was going to say we only have one Borean Stormweaver. Let's pick our second one. Sorry, Forge Guardian Alpha. We are not going to be playing any defenders in this deck. I can take a Stonefist Giant, number 3, or I can take our second Nexus Overwatch. I'm going to take our second Overwatch as our second center lane creature. And do I want a third? The card is really strong, and I'm curious mostly to see how other people play against Nexus Overwatch. I think they might play somewhat poorly and try to trade off with it. So I think we can be confident picking it up there. I'll grab a Tower Scout, as that's the best card to level. I'm going to grab another free card here. And I could grab our very first Defender. It's a pretty shitty one, but it is an underdrop. And that's our last card, right? Okay. So we did get one Defender in the deck, though certainly not a priority level Defender there. So, yeah, our deck is pretty solid. Take a look at it here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 different heroics, all Aloyan. 2 of those heroics are free cards. We got Scout Drone and we got Leyline Sentry. So I kind of picked those up just because I think they'll be mostly free cards. Yeah, and free's good. Just get a little bit of extra value out on the board. I got 2 Stormweavers, but I believe I only got 1 Magma Hound. No, I got 2 Magma Hounds. All right. So that's pretty good then, too. Let's hop in the game here. Fluky. My mic's on, right? All right, yeah, good. Though I did just realize my game sounds aren't on. And also SoulForge isn't connecting, so let me get out of that here. And just reload SoulForge. And brace yourself for a big splash effect. I don't know why I refer to that as a big splash effect, but it's a big loud noise. Brace yourself for big loud noise. Alright. So much is happening. Alright, so our opponent conceded to us, which is what happened. Alright, let's get some Soulforge musics going on. Wait, our draft opponent conceded to us? No. Okay, so I accidentally canceled the draft game. Holy moly. Sorry about that, guys. Spent a lot of time doing nothing so far, but looks like some more people just joined. I will show off my draft deck real quick. Started with Bulwark Battalion. Had a lot of choices for the first card. Could have gone with Siphon Experimentation, Borean Stormweaver, Flesh Fiend. A few pretty good options. Let's ignore that for a second. Stonefist Giant, Borean Stormweaver, Wind Primordial, Aegis Wings, and here's the rest of it. Grabbed an Aloyan Strategist pretty late in the draft. We have Leyline Sentry and Scout Drone as other interesting cards, and we didn't really get any creatures with Defender. We got one creature with Defender, really, the 8/6, but that is not going to be a card that I will be terribly excited about playing and leveling. So let's throw down Nexus Overwatch, level up Stonefist Giant. That seems pretty clear. And then I can just play Volcanic Giant or Siphon Infiltrator. I'll just play Volcanic Giant. Yeah, it looks like I could have put my Giant open lane and drew something worse to be able to deal with this. But Forge Plate Sentry and Magma Hound, I'm sure, will find a home. Even Magma Hound will probably just deal damage, yeah, to whatever goes in the center lane. So that the Nexus Overwatch gets to eat another creature. Magma Hound is normally pretty good at pairing with Nexus Overwatch, as is Matrix Warden. Because a lot of the creatures that block it will wind up having 7 or 8 toughness. I mean, it's hard to have more toughness than that. Okay, but a Shrinky Dink will kind of change how we're doing things there. I think now I actually... No, if I Tower Scout, that doesn't finish it off, right? So this is going to deal 2 to it. So we're looking for something with 4, but that I don't play right now. So that could be a Strategist. Realistically, it's probably just going to be a Nexus Overwatch. Alright, but 4 puts it at a reasonable spot. Because I could also play the Tower Scout right now if I Magma Hound it. And that'll finish it off. 1 damage from this, 2 damage from this, and then 5 damage from that will total up to 8. I think we just want to put it in a position where we can take it out, but don't have to. Alright, drew Strategist, drew Battalion, also drew Stormweaver and Nexus Overwatch. So we drew some cards here. And yeah, these are some good ones. Okay. Yeah, that's going to trade. And hopefully they put a 5/5 in front of Magma Hound. That's what I'm hoping. Because then I could take it out with the Strategist. Alright, yeah, pretty much the same thing. So if I play my Strategist here and the Bulwark Battalion before that, then I knock out their board. And that's probably worth not leveling Nexus Overwatch. just a little bit more, get a little bit more ahead on board. Actually, significantly ahead on board. All right, so let's do this. Opponent doesn't have any active creatures right now, but this is still pretty good. I don't know. Our deck seems pretty insane this time. No Scrap Forge Titan, but still a lot of pretty reasonable rares. Alright, Aloyan Strategist. When I move over my Strategist, that's going to make that into... Oh, wow! Okay. So shit just got real. That's what I'm seeing here. Shit just got very real. Real quick. So if I move over my Strategist, my Battalion takes out his Strategist. That's pretty free. Then his Strategist will take out mine. This is almost a Firemane Steed. Like there's a good play for Firemane Steed here. Yeah. I guess it could also just as easily be Tower Scout, and that gives us a better card next player level. Firemane Steed gives us a better card on the last player level. But I'm gonna go for the Steed here. So essentially, I move over, I make this play to eat their first Strategist, and then what happens is their Strategist can just move over and eat mine. So I want to have a Firemane Steed that will be able to move over and finish off what is remaining of their Strategist. There's a lot of strategy going on in this draft. I have the choice of which free cards I want to level in this hand. So that's really interesting. And, oh, I actually have all 3 of my free cards in this one hand. That's pretty cool. And I will also get the opportunity. Wow! Opponent's got the triple strat. And they're going to trade those ones off. Wowie zowie. The triple strat. That's crazy. This is gonna be a little tricksy. Indeed. My opponent could have made a better play even so. They could have moved this Strategist over. Alright, looks like our opponent is playing multiple games. If you leave the game immediately after making your move, or if you go to like view the deck immediately after making your move, the game doesn't auto take your turn for you. Alright, looks like they got there. So I think we go Nexus Overwatch on Siphon Og. And then I'm just going to Firemane Steed right here. And part of the goal of that Firemane Steed is to draw a Matrix Warden. Wasn't able to get Matrix Warden, but I got Forge Plate Sentry. So Forge Plate can block Forge Plate and positively battle it. So that's pretty reasonable. And yeah, the reason I went here, if I draw Matrix Warden, I can pump the Firemane Steed and then be able to take out my opponent's Forge Plate Sentry. Alright, my opponent sacrifices their Strategist to get 2 points of damage in, and then plays a 1-drop that I can dodge, so that's pretty reasonable. Because that same 1-drop could have just gone here. and ate my Stone Fist Giant. So we're going to get in some damage, and we're going to be a little bit ahead on board here. So I'm actually feeling kind of okay, all things considered. Our opponent has 3 Alolan Strategists in their deck, but I think we might be able to win just by superior plays. Right now we've got 4 creatures on the battlefield to their 1. So we're doing okay. I didn't leave my opponent a play for a Alolan Strategist. Really? I believe it has 9 toughness. Okay, so that's going to be able to positive battle there. We're going to be able to take it out with Tower Scout, though. And then we might be able to just develop, like, Razortooth Stalker, or we might be able to do something weird like Aegis Wings this to have a good card. Okay, so they're going to go Tower Scout and trade. So I can Tower Scout, or I can make my 9/6 into a 12/8. Opponent has so much strategists in the deck that I don't think that's actually going to do anything for us. So I'm going to do like this. I'm going to block his creature, and I'm going to just put a Razortooth Stalker out on the battlefield and hope that that's good enough. 2 Stonefist Giants is not bad. We didn't draw Bulwark Battalion or Alolan Strategist or those Tempest cards. So what we didn't draw isn't great, but what we did draw I think is pretty solid cards. We'll have some Stonefist Giants going into the next player level. And I think I left myself a play that's likely going to have a lot of good opportunities. So yeah, if I played the Aegis Wings, my guy was still just going to die to a Technosmith. So that would have been pretty embarrassing. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't make that play. It's hard to say what else we got going on. Oh, we got a meta transfer. Shrinking the Razortooth Stalker. Okay, that winds up being a lot better for us too, I think. This card is pretty much out. We didn't grab a Frost Shatter Strike. My opponent's leveled a lot of cards. Oh, I forgot I'm allowed to see what my opponent's leveled now. Okay, so let's see what they have leveled. With the meta transfer, they leveled a Nexus Overwatch. Okay, that was on turn 1. And then Technosmith, they leveled a Windborn, which that makes sense. They've leveled a lot of mobility cards as well. Mostly Alolan Strategists were their mobility cards. And then what did they just level? They leveled another Windborn Hellion, and they leveled an Ordnance Captain. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if anybody can help me out. Does this mean that they now have a level 3 Windborn Hellion in the deck? I think it does. And then this means that they have... I know that they played this on level 1 and leveled this on level 1. So I'm thinking that means that they just leveled the earlier versions of those creatures now. Alright, this is, I guess, a trade now. Yeah. So I can Matrix Warden this to eat this. Seems kind of reasonable. And then I can still level my Tower Scout. Yeah, it seems reasonable. Let's do that. Just want to try to get a little bit more ahead on board before my opponent brings out all the best strategies. Forgeplate Century 3 is pretty good. Three Alolan Strategists, that's pretty crazy. Though, yeah, I haven't loved all of my opponent's plays that they have made with them, but it's still scary. gives you a lot of opportunities to make some pretty powerful plays. He doesn't really have any good strategist plays this turn, though. So that's good. It would just be like, put one right here. Yeah, I figured he would put it right there, though. You don't really gain anything. You could put anything here and trade with the Stonefist Giant. Okay, and then he's going to positive battle with that. I guess that's reasonable. So what happens when we battle? How much health does this creature have left? 12? Sure, we'll trade. Then I'll play a Razortooth Stalker. And I draw my Strategist. I also have a Siphon Augmentation in the deck. So that's pretty neat. And of course I have my 2 Stonefist Giants. I think I've gotten a little bit luckier than my opponent. No, on the second player level, my opponent had the cards. They played Meta Transfer level to level 2. Alright, so that looks like Meta Transfer on the center lane. Yeah, it's going to target my guy 4 times, as it is wont to do. Oh, it's going to target my guy a whole bunch of times. Is there something I have to do right now? Okay, I didn't know if I was, like, supposed to restart my client or anything like that. So let's see. I'm going to hit this down to 11 health, and then Strategist won't save it. I could Strategist plus Magma Hound, but that shit ain't happening. I will just have my creature die, I think. Right? Strategist. Yeah. So I think if I do this, I can take 15 on his turn and then move the Strategist. Yeah, I can move the Strategist in front of this. I think that's better than playing a Magma Hound here. I can even Scout Drone Siphon Augmentation to kill the Forge Plate Sentry. That'd be sweet, too. But, I mean, I might make that play. We'll see what happens when we get there. Technome for the chump block. Oh no, Ordnance Captain. Alright. That's pretty reasonable then. So that means Strategist has a space that he can dodge in. And I can just Scout Drone Siphon Aug, as silly as that sounds. The other thing that I could do would be Flame Rift Instigator. Move the Strategist over, battle, and then play Stampeding Mongosaur, get the raid trigger, and Siphon Aug that to make a 10-10. So that seems pretty reasonable too. Raid trigger puts my opponent down to 11, which means that Stampeding Mongosaur is lethal alongside my newly drawn Siphon Augmentation. So that's game 1 in pretty short fashion there. Beat the triple Aloyan Strategist deck. So that one's out of the way. Whew. And we'll queue up for the next round here. This looks like this might be our unranked game. Yes. And we'll just wait for our draft to fire here now. How's everybody doing today? Kalai. Next is Overwatch. Pretty solid card to get, and we have it along with Steelskin Spelunker, which is pretty cool. If my opponent is Utera, I might level Leyline Sentry. Leyline Sentry is actually really boss on level 2. And on level 3, it's not great, but if you can get it for free every once in a while, that's probably reasonable. If I'm being honest, I'm just going to level Tower Scout here, though. That means we can't block that. I'm not going to play Steam Sentinel. There's just no reason to actually play that card. And we'll just spelunk it over here. We want to leave space for our Alolan Strategist to go here so that whatever we put right here can eat the Mongosaur. However, we drew a bunch of creatures that don't want to do battle here. We drew a Borean Stormweaver, which really wants to go in lane 2. Or, I'm sorry, an Alolan Strategist, which really wants to go in lane 2. And then a Borean Stormweaver, which will probably find his way to lane 4 over there. On the other hand, now none of our creatures really want to go in any of these lanes. All of these lanes suck for us now. That's funny. We also have Magma Hound. So, I think I only really see one play here. And it's not great. Either way, regardless of what we do, we're losing equity on something. The only play that we don't lose any board equity on is Strategist in 4, Magma Hound in 5, pinging the Gloom Reaper Witch. But we have Bulwark Battalion in the deck. So the problem, if you put the Strategist in 2, Strategist just dies to the Frost Maiden. Gives us an active Steelskin Spelunker. And it gives us an activate Borean Stormweaver, but the Stormweaver just has to kill the Gloom Reaper Witch. Stormweaver could go here, but then there's no place for Strategist to go. It would just be Magma Hound trading with Stampeding Mongosaur. I don't really care that much about the raid trigger. Yeah, I think this is the play. I could see, yeah, Bulwark Battalion. That's the one we were hoping for. That's gonna get us some viable play options here, because I can Bulwark Battalion to finish off the Frost Maiden, and then Bulwark Battalion will allow Stonefist Giant or Magma Hound to trade. Oh, that's perfect. Oh no, it's not perfect because his Spite Maiden gets to move. So these are going to... And he's got the Epidemic. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Alright. Epidemic's brutal. However, it's not that brutal because we have Bulwark Battalion. So all that's going to survive is Gloom Reaper Witch, and we'll be able to eat that for free next turn. So Bulwark Battalion actually does a lot of work here. Opponent just has a Gloom Reaper, and yeah, like I said, we get to eat that pretty much for free. I get to go next as Overwatch level Scout Drone, so that's cool. I will probably do that rather than play Matrix Warden or anything of that sort. And then I will just put... Okay. Yeah, that makes that play easier for me. It means I won't have to Matrix Warden whatever was blocking this. Oh, my opponent is going aggro over here, though. Doesn't really change much. Scout Drone and Matrix Warden aren't viable plays in either of those spots. So we're going to do like this. We're going to take a little bit more damage. And that Raiding Mangasaur that my opponent played on turn 1 has dealt like, I don't know, somewhere in the range of like 40 damage to me. So I've taken a lot of damage from that, but still not too worried. Here I have Bulwark Battalion level 2, so I just get to eat it for absolutely free here. And I am hoping... Oh, this card is so brutal. And then they just get to eat that for free. Wowie zowie. Alright, well... That's a little tricky. But... I think the 2 damage on this isn't as relevant. I'm going to take 16 more damage here. I'm going to be in kind of an awkward spot, but whatever I play gets 6 armor. That's got to be reasonable, right? I also get to make the biggest attack creature out of my Bulwark Battalion. Oh no, this has mobility too. Wow, holy shit. Alright, this guy's really doing it. This guy's got a lot of synergies going on, but he doesn't use them. Bulwark Battalion only getting 3 attack means it wouldn't be able to finish this off anyways. But getting 6 armor on a creature means whatever I put here can survive. So we definitely do this because we want to just finish off something that our opponent's doing. And then play Forge Plate Sentry, just get the most damage that I can onto that. Also conveniently 7 armor. My opponent's Frostfang Maiden can finish off my Steelskin Spelunker. Seems like a reasonable play. I might not be able to take this out. Oh no, I've got Mangasaur and Matrix Warden. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll definitely be able to take it out. It just might not be pretty. And... -4. Okay. They go for that. That's going to be able to eat that. Alright, so... Mangasaur or Matrix Warden can finish it off. Yeah, I agree with that block. Though they could have attacked and then moved. But this play's still pretty decent from them. I am at a pretty low life total, though I do also have 3 points of damage to work with on my turn. But I don't have that. Oh, jeez. What's happening? They are dealing me a shit ton of damage. Okay. Well, that gets eaten by the Mangasaur. This dies to Matrix Warden. And we are finally ahead on board. We've done it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't hold your breath. This game is not going to be long. I am at 27 against an all-in mobility deck. So I can't imagine that we are in it for too much longer here. But we're ahead on board, eh? Okay, wow. Epidemic. Holy shit. So I could block just to save my life total. However, we're about to rank up. Taking 6 damage has got to be better. It's got to be better to level a card and just take 6 more damage here. Give my opponent the opportunity to like make a big like Frost Shatter Strike play or something anyways still. Steelskin Spelunker, Tower Scout, Forge Plate Sentry. These are all fine cards. Nope, my opponent goes for the damage push. And makes a 6/4 aggressive. Friendly creatures have aggressive. Alright, so these are going to battle now. Oh gosh. And then that's gonna move. What the heck is happening? Alright, so I am just dead. Almost. This isn't active, even though it's aggressive. This is plus 4 attack. So Forge Plate Sentry. Does Forge Plate Sentry get to survive? It's got 12 health. It's got 16 health. It dies. But the Steelskin Spelunker will survive in either scenario? So I have two options. You can put Forge Plate Sentry. I'm playing Forge Plate Sentry and Steelskin Spelunker in lanes 1 and 3. If I put the Steelskin here, I've got Steelskin with 12 health, Forge Plate dies, and then I move a Loyal Strategist over. My opponent trades with Steelskin Spelunker. No, they don't trade. They move over and they eat a Loyal Strategist. Otherwise, I'm giving my opponent the opportunity to eat the Steelskin Spelunker. But I'm down a Forge Plate Sentry. But it answers this cleanly. It answers the stone back cleanly. Alright, I'm going to answer their stone back then. Hit him for 2 damage. My opponent now gets to take out my Steelskin Spelunker. And now I've just got to get a little lucky. That's really tricky. Well, that's GG. Well played by my opponent. Pretty sweet deck. All in mobility. Frost Shadow Strike is a really good card. And, yeah, the Epidemic. BM. Epidemic is also insane. But, yeah, they had the Maiden. Ooh! That's weird noise. I've actually never heard that noise before. That is my first time losing a game of Soulforge with the sound on. Yeah, that sounded pretty noise. Alrighty, we are 1-1. And, we still doing it here? I think our deck is still pretty good. I took a lot of damage that game from raiding Mongosaur. What's up, Ginyu? And I thought I would be able to leverage that into late game advantage. However, my opponent just had a lot of mobility. And with the addition of mobility and Frost Shatter Strikes, it just meant that my opponent didn't really care about the late game advantage and was then able to just trade cards in for damage. And I couldn't even keep up on board because their cards were still so efficient, mostly because of the Spite Maiden, which I think it's called, and they didn't really give me, like, the other thing about mobility, it doesn't give your opponents anywhere to hide. If you play a solid mobility creature, your opponent can't play any activate creatures or any setup cards of their own. So, like, I was trying to play Borean Stormweaver. My opponent had a 6/6 and a mobility card that was going to be able to take it out. And then they wound up having an Epidemic also. But it means that cards like Borean Stormweaver aren't as great because you don't get to activate them. And if you don't get to activate it, then it's just a 4/6. Or in my case, a 2/4 once it gets -2/-2 from Epidemic. We are just waiting here on Soul to go. We've got a Siphon Augmentation and a Stone Fist Giant, which is probably what we're going to level regardless of what our opponent does here. We can level the Siphon Augmentation, but what is some kind of late game bomb? Ginyu? Epidemic? Or not sure what you're referring to there. So yeah, we do have a play in which Siphon Augmentation is good on this board. I might consider it. Now, we've got three Nexus Overwatches of our own. I'm not going to concern myself with this. Plus Borean Stormweaver, plus our own Nexus Overwatch. Oh yeah, Borean Stormweaver is a great late game bomb, but yeah, you don't always, not always able to get there. Not always able to drop the bomb, so to speak. But yeah, Borean Stormweaver is a great card, and one of the reasons that Tempest is like viable in draft. I think they have done a good job to make all of the colors viable in draft. Tempest has Stone Fist Giant, it's got Magma Hound again, and it's got the 9/6. It's a 3/6 that gets like +3 attack when there's a creature across from it. Or +6 attack when there's a creature across from it. So we can Borean Stormweaver to finish this off, though these are going to trade anyways. We can Magma Hound plus ping to finish these off. Oh, you know what? We can also throw the ping at the Nexus Overwatch. I forgot about that. So we could then just let these trade, level Stone Fist off Overwatch, and level our own Forge Plate Sentry. Let's see what my opponent leveled. Looks like we've got a pretty, okay, Ordnance Captain. We've got a pretty even game here so far. So, yeah, I'm fine just doing this. Our opponent will undoubtedly finish off our Nexus Overwatch, and then we will be able to play another one next turn. So that's a pretty good setup there. Yeah, I like this spot. Yeah, that's the main reason I don't battle with Nexus Overwatches right away. Is because, like, my opponent is pretty likely to just play, you know, Matrix Warden, any type of level card. Another Nexus Overwatch is obviously the best one for them to play, but anything like that, and we just get to open up the center lane to ourselves again. Obviously, this scenario doesn't mean as much. And Venom Fang killing off our guy. But they trade with the Venom Fang there. Yeah, that's probably the best play. I think I'd make a similar one. We get to trade here. I think I will level up Firemane Steed because that is going to be good on player level 3. And then I'll open lane a Bulwark Battalion. Wow. Yeah, Borean Stormweaver is pretty strong. I'm not sure if enough players... I mean, I think overall the skill of players is just going to get better over time. So it's probably not every player will do this, but there probably are a lot of players that are just willing to like block with a Borean Stormweaver. Like in this play, people would just block with it here, even though that doesn't really get you anywhere. Though now that I say that, I don't hate it here. The only problem, like our opponent's already leveled a Matrix Warden and an Ordnance Captain, and there's really just no need to let our opponent get that free value. Plus we've got Bulwark Battalion in our deck, so there's a lot of reasons not to do that. Also, we can pair it up with our strategist here. Bulwark Battalion. Just like I wrote it up. Yeah, it's going to be pretty good. Bulwark Battalion can eat this, but it can also give enough armor to Siphon Augmentation that Siphon Infiltrator can eat this Orion Justicar and live to tell the tale. That one's a little bit unfortunate. That creature has the highest attack counts for Tide as the highest attack, right? Even so, we won't finish this off. Well, Bulwark Battalion can finish off Overwatch. Just a little concerned because Bulwark Battalion can also just put damage on Overwatch for next turn. Like, we might just not want any damage on our Bulwark Battalion. What did our opponent level there? Just curious. A Roaming Warclaw. Cool. I think it's pretty clear we're gonna Siphon Infiltrator and ping this. This is fine. Ooh, baby, a triple. Alright, so Stonefist Giant is real good if our opponent keeps our Aloyan Strategist around, which I can't imagine that they do. Forgeplate Sentry is also real good because the 3 armor plus the 9 armor that it's going to get from Bulwark Battalion is the 3 armor plus the 6 armor it's going to get from Bulwark Battalion. Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Is going to be enough to finish off Forgeplate and not take any damages from it. It's an 11-5. I think I might trade a Stonefist for that. I can trade a Stonefist for either of these creatures. Maybe I just want to trade a Stonefist for this. Alright, so this is obviously really good. Let's see what we have left in the deck. We've got a Strategist, Firemane Steed, some Overwatches, and 2 Stormweavers. Yeah, because of all that, I'm going to block with Stonefist Giant here. We've got a lot of level 2s still in the deck, and Aloyan Strategist can already eat this if we really need it to. So, yeah, I feel comfortable with this play here. Seems good. Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of want him to play a big creature in level 5 That'll make me more willing to slam down this strategist here, and then the strategist can, on my next turn, move over and kill the Venom Fang, because we want to level a card with Nexus Overwatch right now. So this is all working out pretty well for us. I'm going to level Giant over Tower Scout. I think we have a decent amount of mobility already, especially when you count for the Firemane Steed that we could have drawn. But yeah, this looks pretty good. It also means our opponent can't really put any good creatures here or here. We've got them in a pretty tough spot, I'd say. Another Venom Fang would be pretty good. They're going to go for the Overwatch Chump Block. And did they level something? We don't know what they leveled yet. Yeah, my draws have been really good. I mean, it does help. All right, they level a Matrix Warden. And a Matrix Warden is a really good play for them. All right, that's reasonable. So here's something else we can do now, though, because our strategist didn't get pressured. We can move our strategist into the center lane after battling. We take a little bit more damage, but then we get to put a level 1 creature in front of my opponent's Venom Fang. So I like that a whole lot. That seems really good. Yeah, I knew I was giving myself a really good play for a potentially drawn strategist and Bulwark Battalion on that player level, and I just happened to get the Bulwark Battalion when I asked for it, and happened to get the Eloyan strategist when I asked for it. So both of those things worked out super, super well, and yeah, I couldn't really have asked for the cards to line up much better. All right, our opponent goes Roaming Warclaw. The Raptor is not going to be able to finish off Strategist. So our opponent needs to come up with something else quick. All right, Matrix Warden for the finish. For the finish line. All right, that's good. So it looks like this is a completely irrelevant ping, but we actually get to make this ping relevant again with the addition of Breakthrough. So that's pretty cool. And I'm going to go for that. There's no point in not blocking his creature here. I mean, there would be some points to it, but yeah, this is going to work out pretty well, I think. And with that Borean Stormweaver draw, I think we are in a really, really solid spot here. Yeah, this looks good. I'm going to go run and grab some water. I will be right back. Alrighty, what did I miss? Oh, my guy got some poison on him. Oh yeah, Breakthrough doesn't work while... Oh, okay. Right, yeah, okay. So the damage I dealt to his creature didn't actually mean anything. Fair point, fair point. Strategist probably just wants to trade here. It's a little unfortunate, but it's still getting pretty reasonable value here. What is breakthrough? 14 attack? So we could also Matrix Ward in this. Or we could play a Scout Drone if we don't think the damage is relevant. Scout Drone is... So I'm doing this. And then I'm either going to play a Matrix Warden here. Oh, wait. +6. This is more damage, isn't it? And my opponent is likely to still block my strategist here. Yeah. So this is a little bit weird, but I think my opponent's actually still likely to block my strategist than take another 14 points of damage. They could have something like a Steelskin Spelunker or something like that, but that's really it. I mean, Steelskin Spelunker or like Siphon Augmentation. But yeah, I think we're in a decently good spot. That's a little awkward because it means that we've got two places that we'd want to put our ping. And Matrix Warden is going to pump the Forge Sentry, I guess. Oh no, Matrix Warden's going to pump that. Okay, well now we actually have a lot of places that we want to put our ping. So we can just trade off the battlefield. Yeah, I do think it would be a bad play for our opponent to block the strategist. But we still let them make that mistake if they want to. And I don't think we lose that much by offering that play up to our opponent. Like, so the options for our play there were to either make the play that I did or push through, I think, actually slightly less damage by Matrix Wardening or Scout Droning up our creature. And all we get to show for the Matrix Warden Scout Drone play is a 2-2 on the battlefield. Or a 3-3 on the battlefield. That's really all we were getting out of that. And we get a lot by potentially giving our opponent the opportunity to make a bad play. Like putting the Matrix Warden in front of the Eloyan Strategist. So what I think I want to do here is Borean Stormweaver plus Stonefist Giant to finish. I can also Borean Stormweaver ping off the Matrix Warden, though ironically enough, that's or maybe not ironically, but just like funny enough, that's the weakest play. You'd think being able to ping something off and finish it off would be good, but yeah, I think that this is our best play. And then we are going to level our best card. I hope I did that math right. I did. We're going to level our best card, which is Firemane Steed. And any level 1s we draw, which actually isn't any, are going to be able to take off the Matrix Warden here. You know what? I said we didn't draw any level 1s, but we're about to rank up. Getting another Stonefist Giant in our deck could actually be really good when the game is this close. And where that's tricky is I could have a 13 armor Forge Plate Sentry, and I will just eat the Matrix Warden. Just straight up eat it. It's hard to pass up, just straight up eat play. Looks like our opponent has a double level 1 hand, or a quintuple level 1 hand, and they're going to put another bad creature right there. Alright, they actually get to play a reasonable creature there. Now I think I'm slightly rewarded for making the more aggressive play. Because my opponent missed. So I can press this advantage. I really don't want to block when my opponent already has such a great opportunity for Matrix Warden right here. Meaning I don't want to put Bulwark Battalion in front of either of these creatures. I'd rather take 15, potentially take 27. So how many level 3s do I have in my deck? That doesn't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can make that 8. That seems like a pretty significant increase, eh? So then do I want to keep it around? I think I do, especially because I'm leaving 2 active creatures. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to hope that we just get to gobble up both of these boys on our next turn. And hopefully we get rewarded with double Stonefist Giant. Not quite, but yeah, not quite. Okay, we can still definitely make some stuff happen out of this. The play that I was talking about, where my opponent plays a Matrix Warden, actually looks considerably worse for us now. Man, no Leyline Sentry either. They're going to get to chump block the Bulwark Battalion, though we might be playing Aegis Wings here. Looks like this kind of works out for us. We can also Magma Hound to eat the Raptor, which would mean we're taking a lot of damage, though, too, at the same time. But then what are we doing? We're Aegis Wingsing. And then we're moving Bulwark Battalion in front of the guy post-combat. Yeah, that was a tough decision. I think we wind up getting a little bit punished for it. Yeah, it's always a tricky spot whether or not to play a. I'm gonna do this. Whether or not to play a level 3 on 3.4, and oh shit, I missed this. All right, well that dies to Magma Hound. I didn't realize that this wasn't dying. Yeah, I totally missed that. I'm not gonna lie. I went for the damage push here. I felt like we were potentially putting our opponent in an awkward position. If I drew, shit. Oh, we could be dead here. We're dead. Man. Alright, well, I fucked up. That's on me. I thought I was making a better play by presenting lethal to my opponent in the form of, if I draw a Matrix Warden, I win. But, yeah, I definitely lost that and got punished. I think I went 1 win in that draft. That is the worst I have ever done. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. But that means we get to jump into another one. So that's sweet. I will take a Scrapforge Titan to lead things off here. Let's win. If we're going to get to player level 3, let's make sure we win from now on. How does that sound? Yeah, not quite lucky there. But I also made the plays that I did to put me into that position. So all these cards suck ass. I don't know what the heck we'd want to do with these. I mean, Cragwalker's the best of all of them because it's a creature. Just trying to think if there's a specific faction we want to play. I just played Aloyan Tempest. Though I do think our deck was really good. Yeah, Walker's a good underdrop. And it's definitely the best card by far out of all of these. The other thing to just consider in draft is, yeah, what factions you want to play. I think Tempest is fine. Let's not be results oriented. I just got a little bit unlucky. Take a Nexus Overwatch. Take a Flame Rift Instigator to activate some defenders we get. And here we get another clunker pick. Does this even level? It doesn't. And does this even level? It also doesn't. I'm almost tempted to just pick Aegis Pulse here. You know what? I will be back in 1 second, guys. Alrighty, I'm back. Did you guys make up your mind what I'm picking here? So, both of these cards are really bad. The Aegis Pulse has the potential to be an underdrop. Steel Welder Medic has the potential to maybe do some fun stuff, though they both give permanent armor. Take Aegis Pulse. Steelskin Spelunker, Chaos Twister, and Siphon Aug. Those are all pretty good. I'm going to go Spelunker. It's a favorite card of mine. But I could definitely see taking Chaos Twister or Siphon Augmentation. Grab a Stone Fist Giant here. Hopefully it'll work out for us this time. Ionic War Charger's pretty good. It's enough better than Forge Guardian Alpha that I'm going to take it. Spite Mage is unplayable. Firemane Steed will do something if we get to level it up a little bit. Stormweaver is insane. Firestorm's cool. But Razortooth Stalker, really solid. Guess I'll take Siphon Aug over Cinder Mystic. Nexus Pilot or Meta Transfer. Don't actually hate Meta Transfer. Especially when... I think this is the exact same thing I said last draft. We got a Nexus Pilot 12th pick, and I said we'll still get plenty more center lane creatures, and we did. We picked up 2 more Nexus Overwatches. Yeah, I don't mind Meta Transfer. We have... looks like 4 cards that are decent to level. Firemane, Stone Fist, Scrap Forge, and Siphon Augmentation. So we get 4 cards that are solid level choices. This is if they gain life, and it's a reasonably statted creature. This is a 4/7, 7/11, 14/20. This card's just fine, isn't it? Yeah, it's fine. Maybe we go all in on some armor shit with Aegis Wings. Flame Rift Instigator. Number 2. Nexus Pilot or Forge Guardian Alpha. I'm gonna grab Nexus Pilot. Emberwind Invoker is really good. We've got 2, 3 mobility creatures. 4 if you count Cragwalker, which I don't. Or we could just take a Shoran Mystic. Emberwind Invoker also has a solid stat line. I'm going to take it. Gives +1/+1 to some cards that we already want to play anyways. We could take a Cloud Reaver Titan to go with the Overwatch that we just picked up, or Emberwind Invoker that we just picked up. We take a second Nexus Pilot. I'm going to take another mobility creature here. I think. Warbringer Uranti is really good. It's pretty much just Matrix Warden. Matrix Warden pump doesn't live around that much longer unless you're pumping itself. This also notably cannot pump itself, so it's considerably weaker. But I'm going to take Razortooth Stalker. Some more mobility or a Flame Lance. More mobility is kind of cool, though both provide a really good way to push through late game damage. It doesn't level that well, but it'll kill a level 1 creature. I'm going to play Elementalist, I think. We can also just combo it with Flame Lance, which is pretty good. Let me see. Did I say we could combo it with Flame Lance? I think I did. I think I said we can combo it with Flame Lance. I meant we can combo it with Borean Stormweaver. This gets better because we don't have, like, Magma Hounds, but it also gets worse because it's good with those kinds of cards. And that's why this faction pairing is always a little bit awkward for me. I could honestly see defending either of these picks here. I think this is likely to get us a more fun play. Has higher upside a little bit. We only have one Nexus Pilot so far, I believe. Do we have none? We have none. Oh no, we have one. Okay. So we could take that. We could take Windborn Helion and keep going with that mobility theme, which I don't hate. Mobility cards are also bad with center lane cards. There's a lot of anti-synergy in this faction pairing. I mean, this card's like solid stat line regardless. Yeah, we'll take it. Seems reasonable. And we have another option for a mobility creature, this time one with Defender. But I think it's still good. Burnout is also good, and Chaos Twister is also good. Let's just go all-out mobility. I mean, other than we're going to take Borean Stormweaver over a Firemane Steed, but otherwise, let's go all-out mobility. Zephyr Mage, that's pretty cool. We're doing some stuff here. I'll grab a Technosmith. And... oh, wow! I didn't even see that Borean Windweaver. That's insane. Alright, so we are very mobility heavy here. I can grab a Cinder Colossus. These are like almost all viable picks here. Let me just take a look at what we've drafted so far. Yeah, so we don't even have that many underdrops, so like something like Volt Technician also isn't horrible. That Cragwalker's coming back in and coming in hot. We take Cinder Colossus, but walls are bad with mobility. We take Stonefist Giant as just a card to level up when nobody's looking. I think I will take Stonefist Giant because it just conforms so well to my playstyle. Though so does Cinder Colossus, eh? It's just about the same thing. and then we just have to find some way to push in damage at the end. Sure, I'll take Cinder Colossus. And then I can take another Flame Rift Instigator, but I'm going to take a Warbringer Uranti. We don't have many ways to impact combat. I know Jetpack goes well with what we're doing, but Aegis Wings is a much better jetpack, and we already have three other ways to move creatures with Zephyr Mage, Windweaver, and Uranti Elementalist. So let's grab a Warbringer Uranti, Flame Lance, or Volcanic Giant. I'm just going to go with the creature here. It's just a safer pick. Steel Spark Tinkerer, no thank you. And I'll grab a Nexus Overwatch to level some cards. So let's look at the deck one last time. We've got a Scrapforged Titan, which I actually completely forgot about until just now, but we've got 4 cards with which we can level it. A Nexus Overwatch or 2, a Meta Transfer, and a Technosmith. This deck's got a lot of shit going on in it. It's got a Defender's theme, a Mobility theme, and also a Power Leveling theme. So we will see which theme we are on for any given game. And yeah, we'll see what we want to do here. So here we can Overwatch level Technosmith. It's kind of silly, but we don't get to play them both, so let's just level them both. Now we can play Aegis Wings and get a big creature already, and then play Razortooth Stalker, or we can just play Zephyr Mage, and Zephyr Mage is level gated, so there's a decent chance we want to be playing that here. And our opponent's going to Matrix Ward in and pump the Uranti Storm Shaper. I also have a Meta Transfer. So Meta Transfer is important to keep in mind. Could level up the Razortooth Stalker. I don't really see myself wanting to do that. At the same time, I don't have anything good to put just right here. Aegis Wings means I'll get to kill this next turn, and it'll only make 1 Yeti. So as weird of a play as that seems, I might even go with that play. I think every card other than Cragwalker, which is an underdrop, is a reasonable play here. And I'm kind of leaning towards Aegis Wings and Razortooth Stalker. My opponent is going to have a lot of Lightning Worms. So if the Lightning Worm goes here or here, which is a 2 out of 3 chance. Oh no, if it goes here, it doesn't mean anything. So Lightning Worm, if it goes here, which is now only a 1 in 3 chance, that means they can block my Stalker. Yeah, okay, they only have a 1 in 3 chance to block the Stalker. So we're going to make just our most aggressive play. Oh, I should have battled and then moved over. Oh, that was really dumb. That was really, really dumb. Oh well. Yep. Just messed up. It happens. Alright, they got the Lightning Worm trigger where they needed it to go. They put their own Aegis Wings on Uranti Storm Shaper, but it doesn't do anything because I've got the highest attack. And then they Stonebrand it. Oh, they messed up that order. But interesting play nonetheless. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you knew that they weren't going to block my Razortooth Stalker here, Ginyu, but They decided not to. Unfortunately, Warbringer Uranti is right out of range for Uranti Stormshaper. But what I can do, 5 plus 9 equals 11. Or sorry, 5 plus 9 equals 14. So I can do like this. And then like this. No, I like Stalker to be able to block. Like, Stalker, I like to play it into combat tricks. Because, so if I had played the Stalker open lane, in like a traditional game, they would just play something, and so they had the Matrix Warden in 3. Alright, I don't think that changes anything. Not really. I mean, it's a good play. I can level Cinder Colossus, or I could just level my better cards. Not that Cinder Colossus is a terrible card. I can also take a little bit more damage and level Borean Stormweaver over here so that it can take this off. I would take 12 more damage. That might be reasonable. And then I have Borean Stormweaver stick around. It's really just what I want to level here, eh? I could just level Emberwind Invoker and Windborn Hellion, but I think Borean Stormweaver is better than Emberwind Invoker. So, do I want to just trade it off, I guess is the question. I think we're pretty confidently doing this, unless I decide to play the Cinder Colossus. Now, Windborn Hellion seems... it seems good. Just not sure if I'm willing to make it seem good this turn. Or this game, rather. I'm gonna do... I think this is a safer play. Cinder Colossus obviously gets countered a little bit by their Yeti, but I think this is just the safest play that I can make. We're about to rank up, so I don't really care if my creature dies here. And obviously I get pretty rewarded. I draw the 2 cards I just played, so it's hard to call that the wrong play. You draw the 2 cards you just played, you know? Alright, we'll put Cinder Colossus here to finish this off, and then I will open lane my Stormweaver right here. So, okay, to touch more on the Razortooth Stalker play. When you Razortooth Stalker, I did not leave a good space for Razortooth Stalker, by the way, but when you Razortooth Stalker open lane, this is one of the few cards I actually don't like to open lane, even though it has relevant abilities. If you could imagine with me where we were, my opponent had... Oh, that's sweet. My opponent had a Matrix Warden in 3. That's fine. We get to finish off a Hammerfang. I'll take that. Opponent had a Matrix Warden in 3. And I had the option to play Razortooth Stalker in lanes 1 through 4. If I put it in 4, all my opponent has to do... Well, I couldn't put it in 4 because I was moving the Nexus Overwatch there. So, but even if I could, all my opponent then has to do is put a creature in front of it, and I can't block it. Or, I'm sorry, and I can't attack them with it. Because the whole point of this card is to deal some battle damage to your opponent. If I put it in 2, they put creatures in lanes 1 and 2, and then I would move over and kill the Matrix Warden on my turn, which puts the same amount of damage on the Matrix Warden. It doesn't open me up to battle tricks, but it means that my Razortooth Stalker is just a 4/2 and never gets to battle them. So So let's do like this. I'm gonna level. Guess I'll level Stonefist Giant and then play Avalanche Guardian. Nexus Overwatch is cool. Steelskin Spelunker is cool. And Warbringer Uranti is cool as well. Ooh, okay. My opponent has the takedown. And will my opponent aggressive something in lane 5? I believe they will. They decide not to. They decide to play an Ice Shard Berserker. That's fine. So I think I'm just going to trade off with this Ice Shard Berserker now. We're about to rank up. So might as well just trade it off. And we'll level a Steelskin Spelunker here and then trade these two. I think my opponent could have gotten in 3 damage for free and not been too punished for it, but it doesn't really matter. Right, and here's those cards that I decided not to play in round 1. Alright. Lightning Worms are good. That's pretty good. I guess it just means I'll put a level 1 creature there. It actually kind of just gives me a play to make now. You can play Windborn Hellion or Emberwind Invoker. I think Emberwind Invoker is the most likely to be relevant later in the game. Volcanic Giant too, but I'll level Invoker. Then I'll put Splunker here. I'm not sure what I wouldn't have touched it is in reference to in the chat. If that's an old thing that I just forgot that I read already, or something new. Alright, these are going to trade. It's going to be a big monster. This can take Cinder Colossus damage, and then I can play a Borean Stormweaver. Oh, you wouldn't have touched the Berserker? The problem is, I don't want to block it with a level 3 creature. The 3/6, because I'd rather not put like 9 damage on Borean Stormweaver, which I'm going to open lane right now. Yeah, I'd rather not have the 9 damage on that, and I have to put 9 damage on something, so I might as well put 9 damage on this 7/7 that I don't actually care about. Oh, did anybody else see me level that Scrapforged Titan nonchalantly? I don't remember doing that at all. Yeah, forgot the Scrapforged Titan dealt with like the level 1 Yeti, and yeah, I mean this is just GG. Yeah, this isn't even particularly close. I can finish off this, Scrapforge to eat this, and then Razortooth Stalker, and that'll draw a concession out of my opponent. Most likely. If not, it will just win the game. If it doesn't draw the concession. Because my opponent isn't quite dead. Because this isn't clocking them, and this they can deal with. Yeah. So now they block the Razortooth Stalker, and then I get to Windweaver and move everything over a space. So that's pretty silly. What else do I want to do? Do I want a Siphon Augmentation? Oh, I want to move everything over the other way. Alright, so let's do this. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to battle. And this is lethal. So I don't have to do anything here. So I'm not going to. I was thinking that Scrapforge might just move over and eat the Siphon Infiltrator, but this is lethal. there's not much you have to mess around with that. Yeah, Borean Stormweaver is an insane card. After this game, I am going to take a quick 5-minute break here. 5-10 minute break. And I will be back. You know what? I'm actually going to take that break now. And I will see you guys in a minute.